Like I was listening to some pretty good debates lately concerning religion, and I don't like to argue religion because I think that everyone that has their religious beliefs is sort of like an opinion. You can't argue with them because when people believe things, they can believe what they want to. That's part of the Constitution. They can believe. You can't argue with people when they say, "Man, I don't believe that. I believe what I want to." And so when I hear this debate about uh, whether or not a woman can preach in a church, I wouldn't say whether or not can she do it. I would say because she's already doing it, so of course she can do it. When they say that she's not allowed to, or she's not permitted to, because of scriptures, and I just wanted to talk about it because I hear that argument, and um, I don't think it's such a big controversy in the sense of several things. First of all, for me, when I hear that, and like I said, we all have our own opinions, but most pastors say it's not opinions. They'll say that it's literally scripture that says that she can, and I question that. I really do, but I'll dig into it. I mean, I'll just give my opinion because I just want to. I hear it all the time, and I just like kind of for starters, let's just start right here. When you hear that, question, see, there are words that are unspoken when you hear that. Because even if that is true, it means in a perfect society. Like I said, suffer not a woman to preach. Yeah, in a perfect society when the men are being men. In a God-fearing society, not no LGBTQ society, or not no society that's a whoremonger society, an adulterous in a society, and an idolatry society. Yeah, I don't think you can hold the world to those standards if it's not a God-fearing society. Like Jesus said, if they don't preach, the rocks gonna cry out, and that's what I mean by that. But there's several other issues I have with it. And like I said, the first one is that I have yeah, of course, maybe not in a God-fearing society. This ain't no God-fearing society. I mean, because when you consider you have preachers who are men carrying little boys up, young men up in the airplanes and sodomizing them and having sex with them. These are the men. When you have men who are marrying little young 17 to 18-year-old girls in their congregation, the pastor. And when you have pastors that say, well, I used to be gay, I used to be a homosexual, but now I'm not a homosexual. And now I'm back to being a man and I want to be a pastor. Not when you have wolves in sheep clothing. Not when you have power bottoms and people who are, who have their podium mixed up with a nightclub. In that particular society, I would say let that woman get up there and do it, because in that society, the men not doing what they're supposed to do. It says, I suffer her not to do. I do it. I suffer not a woman to preach. That means like, suffer not my little kids to go to work. I go to work so I won't suffer them to do that. And then when it says suffer not a woman, it means you go do it so that she won't have to. But in such a society, I'm sure, and many towns and cities, she has to. Suffer with the fact that in the number one most powerful country on earth, you have a woman vice president. You had a woman governor in South Carolina. She was a governor. You have women mayors, So what that says to me, what you have to understand about that is, in this society, it's not wrong. Which leads me to my second point. The first one, I remember I said that, their words unspoken. My second point is Rome. See, when you Google that, if you Google is a woman allowed to preach, they're going to take you to Paul. They're going to take you to Timothy. They're not going to take you to any scripture, the four gospels. They're not going to take you to the four gospels because Jesus never said that. The teacher. They're going to take you to the student, or at least allegedly he says that he was an apostle of Jesus. I don't believe him. He's a big liar as far as I'm concerned. Paul. I don't believe Paul. I don't believe that story. I don't believe that he met Jesus on the road to Damascus. That he fell off a donkey, bumped his head, and he saw a vision Jesus on the road to. I don't believe that. I think he's a liar because I know for a fact that he's a murderer. He murdered Christians. That's what he was doing. He was a Roman soldier. And if you don't remember, here's my second point. The Romans killed Jesus. The Romans killed Jesus. They crucified him. They put him, they captured him, they charged him, and they charged him with insurrection and going against the king, the Caesar, and they crucified him. Now, why should I don't have to listen to nothing Paul said because he was a Roman soldier? The Roman soldiers put nails in Jesus Christ's feet and his hands and put a crown on his head and crucified him. That's the second thing. I don't have to listen to nothing no Roman soldier saying. I'm not going to do it. So if Paul said that, how can you be in math class and you get out of math class, you sit next to your partner and he tell you something that the teacher never said? You be like, man, I ain't heard them say that. What is he talking about? No, man, he ain't never said nothing about that, what you saying. And it's the same thing with Paul. How can he be a student, meaning he's an apostle of Jesus? That's what he say is allegedly. Jesus never taught that. So how could you come to us and say, well, you teaching that? He never taught that. And if he did, show me the book and verse where he did. Which one? It's in Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Where? Where did he teach that? Because if the teacher didn't teach it, how can the student teach it? How? The Romans, first of all, were a male chauvinistic society. Go look at any Roman movie where you see any woman doing anything in a Roman movie. There were Roman Caesars. You know, Caesar was like saying king. Where was there a woman doing anything in Rome? They were male chauvinistic. And most Roman soldiers, a jump cross 1,000 women had to get to a man. So, of course, they would say that. They would say what she can and can't do because Roman soldiers, they were homosexuals. Rome was a homosexual society. It was not no God-fearing society. They didn't care nothing about God. They said that they were gods. So when you hear that coming from a Roman, Paul, his real name is Saul. He was a Roman soldier that killed a bunch of people. He killed Christians. So how can he go and be teaching Christians anything about marriage or anything about who can preach in the church and who can't? He's a Roman soldier. The Roman soldiers crucified Jesus. So I don't adhere to listening to him because I don't believe in, I just don't. I mean, and so I have several issues with that. So now when you hear people talking about what a woman, because Paul said it, well, tell me where Jesus said it. He the teacher. Paul not a teacher. Paul's an apostle. He said that he's an apostle. The apostles would question Jesus because they didn't have the knowledge and the wisdom. They would ask him things and he would teach them. So if he never taught that, why is Paul teaching it? We live in modern day times and we live in America. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you to go against scriptures and none of that. But in my opinion, these men nowadays, and I am a man, but in this modern day culture, who can determine what is a man? If this pastor, you know, and you got pastors, preachers and priests having sex trafficking and having sex with kids. It's sort of like, take for instance, I'll give you the perfect example. If that man that killed that security guard that killed Trayvon Martin, he murdered him, just like Paul was a murderer. If he was to go say that he found Jesus and he wanted to become a reverend or a minister of peace, would you go to his church? Would you listen to him? He killed Trayvon. That boy was innocent, going to get some Skittles, had a pop, and going back to watch the game. He killed him. And now he said that, well, you know, I'm a minister now, change, you know, would you go to his church? He's a murderer. You know he's a murderer. And got off scot-free because of racism. Would you go to his church? And I feel the same way about Paul. I'm not listening to none of that stuff you say. And I know that Rome was a male chauvinistic society. A woman couldn't do nothing in Rome. What could she do? A Roman soldier will tell you that a woman can't do nothing for him. Nothing. He'll tell you that because they love men. So I don't adhere to that. And I think that's a simple argument for me because right now, and going into the age of Aquarius, a woman can do whatever the hell she want to do. And you're not going to be able to stop it. You're not. You're not. And and people will try to, they'll try to sway you over blindly and tell you the Bible. See, the Bible ain't never said a damn thing because the Bible can't talk. Why don't you specifically say who said it? Paul said it, and then when you go Google it again, they'll tell you what Timothy said. Timothy was Paul's protege. They not gonna tell you that when you try to Google Jesus teachings on women preaching. Google it. And it's gonna take you straight to Paul and straight to Timothy. It's not gonna take you to a scripture where he said that. And so, when I hear that, especially that's Rome. That was in a Roman society, a male silver. Now that when you're in the 21st century, going into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of women, I beg to differ. I really do. I don't care about no great. You got some of the best pastors, and I'm not no pastor. Some of the best pastors I debating, give me Bible and all that stuff. Give me scripture where he said that. He was a teacher. He the master teacher. Where did he teach that at? What scripture? What book? Paul said that. And them Tony niggas in Europe, William Shakespeare and Beethoven and King James, they put that stuff together in the King James Version because they were male chauvinistic. You got to think, the Romans, they ain't care nothing about no woman. Caligula was a Caesar. Caligula made love to his mama and cut her head off. He was a Roman Caesar. Caligula. You don't remember what Rome was about? A lady, a female, that man made love to the man getting killed, cut her head off and stuff. I mean, that's Rome. So now you got a Roman soldier telling you something about what a woman can and can't do. And you believe it. I don't. I think he's a liar. I know he's a murderer. And my grandma used to say she hate a liar and can't stand a thief. She used to always say, I hate a liar, can't stand a thief. And if you lie, you steal. And if you steal, you will kill. Paul was a straight up hitman. He was a murderer for Rome. He used to kill all the Christians. And I think when they put that story together about he was on the road to Damascus, Jesus was already dead. How you seen Jesus? How? And you talking about you seen it and now you an apostle. That's a lie. They put that together. They lied. He a liar and his whole story is a lie. So that's my opinion on that. And I don't think it means nothing to anybody too much, but that's mine. You got yours. So as far as I'm concerned, she can do it. She's vice president of the greatest country, and some say the greatest in the history of the world, America. She's the vice president of America. You think she can't go be a preacher in the church? I say she can. And I honestly and truly believe that God nor Jesus ever said that she can. The Bible was written during a male chauvinistic time, during the age of Pisces, which was the age of men, a male chauvinistic age. We were there for 2,160 years, all about men. But we're not there anymore. We're in the age of Aquarius. And you can say, oh, what she can do and can't do. You can't stop her. It's the age of Aquarius. They're going to do whatever the hell they want, and nothing we're going to be able to do to stop them. I thank you for listening. And that's my opinion on that.